I now want to talk about the patent box, which is a relief that has been proposed. It's going to be introduced in 2013. Significantly, this is a relief given for a different type of income as opposed to a different type of expenditure. Everything we've talked about so far was related to expenditure. The patent box relates to income. So the idea of the patent box is to encourage companies to protect and commercialise their intellectual property. The idea is that if you can identify profits that specifically arise from certain types of intellectual property, those that have been patented, they're a little bit wider, we'll talk about, then you're going to suffer a much reduced tax rate. The headline figure is 10%. Patent income will be charged a tax of 10%. Now, not straight away. That relief is being phased in over a period commencing in 2013, and by 2017 the full benefit will be in place. %10% tax relief is pretty attractive. The difficulty with the patent box is going to be establishing just how much of your company's profit is in the patent box, i.e. relates to the exploitation of a patent. As I've said, the calculations are undeniably very complex. You need to identify the income, and you won't be surprised to hear that there are anti-avoidance provisions making sure that your income isn't falling into the wrong boxes. You need to identify the expenditure as well. You've got to have accounting systems in place to do all that. If you've got losses, the losses in a patent box company have to be fully used against patent box profits later on, i.e., if you like, only a 10% relief for losses. So if you're making losses, it may not even be worth going into the patent box anyway. You don't have to go into the patent box from the start. It's a one-off election. You can elect to go into the patent box within 2 years from the end of the year of the account, from the end of the accounting period, and you stay in it until you opt to come out. But still, you can elect in. What I've not covered is pre-grant income, and that's interesting. The patent pending income. You can't go into the patent box until your patent has been granted. Many companies will be exploiting under patent pending. What happens there? Well, as long as you're in the patent box, as soon as the patent is granted, you can go back and have a look at the previous 6 years, and any income which you can allocate to that patent derived before the patent was granted, i.e. during those patent pending years, which typically can be 4 years, 5? Yeah, you can go back 6 years, profits which will have been assessed at the full corporation tax rate, you can now say, I want to put into the patent box. You'll put it into the patent box and they'll then be taxed at the profit that applies in whichever year you've got your patent. Remember, we're having it phased in from 2013 to 2017. 6 years worth of profit at that lower rate, and quite a nice windfall tax refund for the full amount of corporation tax you paid during those years of patent pending. So I think that's interesting. That's something that you really should look at. The practicalities, things for you to think about between now and 2013, things for you to talk to me and Noel about. The need to claim, I've told you about that. Do you meet the conditions? Are your systems right for either estimating, this formulaic approach, or streaming? Have you got losses? Is it going to be beneficial to go into the patent box? If so, when? If you're in the patent box, how are you going to strip out your marketing return? Is it best just to go down the small claims route? A lot easier, but there's a limit of £1 million. How are you going to work out any notional marketing royalty for those patents which are being exploited by others? Whilst you read that, I will just finalise on the patent box by saying that latest thoughts are that you do need to consider this very carefully between now and 2013. I think that, as with R&D, it's been an interesting challenge for me as a tax advisor to combine my skills with those of scientists and technicians and engineers. The Patent Box is now asking me to combine my skills with those of my accountant colleagues, obviously, and patent attorneys. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing what Noel's got to say on it. As regards R&D, I think the latest figures that I have is that there have been something like £1 billion worth of R&D claims made so far, by something like 1 million separate companies, which, if I've worked it out right, means that we're getting about £100,000 of R&D claim each. And it's got to be worthwhile, because it is nothing like as difficult as everybody seems to be telling us.